it is my absolute pleasure to invite to the stage the Chase Kemberling family, Emily, Tyler, Travis, and Chase.
Hi there, everybody. I just wanted to start out by saying thank you on behalf of our family and all of the other Four Diamonds families out there. We truly appreciate all that you guys do. So this is Chase, and on October 29th of 2013, Chase went to see his pediatric doctor. He had been experiencing some flu-like symptoms throughout the past weeks or two leading up to when we decided that we needed some answers on what was happening to him. We took him to his family doctor that day. His stomach was distended. It was huge. It looked awful. And we took him that day. And she looked at him and she said, you know what, you need to get him to the emergency room. That I'm 99% sure that he has appendicitis, that they're gonna have to perform surgery on him and get it taken care of. And at that time, I mean, we were devastated that he was gonna need surgery, that he had appendicitis. And he was 4 at the time. So it was gonna be frightening for him. And they told us to take him up to the Hershey Medical Center. And we got there about 3 o'clock that afternoon. They started doing ultrasounds and seeing what the best way to go about his surgery and stuff for his appendicitis. And they kept doing tests, and they still weren't telling us the time that his surgery was going to be going on. They didn't tell us any of that. And later that day, they were like, oh, well, we think he might have something else. And we were like, okay, well, what is the treatment for the whatever else he might have? And they still weren't giving us answers. And through this whole time, he was cranky, throwing a fit because he hadn't eaten all day. They had him on lockdown from any food or drink because of all the tests that they were running on him. So we were dealing with a bear in the emergency room. I think he may have wanted to punch a few nurses and doctors throughout the way. But then around 10 o'clock that evening, from being in the hospital all that time, the head doctor that was on call that night and the nurse, they took my husband and I, they pulled us into a room, they closed the door behind us, and then started shutting the blinds that were in that room. They said, you guys want to sit down for this. There was a sofa there. So my husband and I sat down next to each other, the doctor and the nurse in front of us, and they said, your son, he has tumors. They're all over his body, which was what was causing his stomach to be so distended. They looked at us and they told us, whatever you guys are perceiving cancer to be, they said don't. They said children are so resilient, and they said research has come such a long way. They said the outcome is gonna be okay. And the whole time I'm thinking, this can't be, they can't sit us down here in this room, they can't tell us that our 4-year-old son has cancer, and then they can't tell us that it's gonna be okay, that research has come such a long way. Not for a second did I believe that. I figured it was something that they just told everybody, that just to ease the pain of those words that your child has cancer. But after that, whisked him the way to the third floor of the Children's Center, which was the hematology oncology floor. And with that research, they knew exactly what treatment to put him on for his age, for his weight. They knew exactly the amount of dosage that he needed for chemotherapy. They knew exactly how many rounds they needed to give him to fight the disease. And from that moment, we were in the hospital for 3 months. It was pretty much 3 months straight with a little vacation back to our house for a total of 2 weeks. We spent that Thanksgiving in the hospital, but all of our family, they came up, and we were able to get a little conference room, and we were able to spend Thanksgiving there as a family, which I think is one of the better memories of being in the hospital, because we could all be together. Chase was on a regimen of 6 rounds of chemotherapy. They each lasted about a week long, and then it was about a week or so until his counts could get back up. There was a few times where we were at home and he had to be rushed back to the hospital because his fever spiked. There was times when he wouldn't eat for 3 days because of cold sores all over his mouth and down his esophagus. We spent 3 nights in the PICU, holding oxygen up to his nose so that he could breathe better from the chemotherapy breaking down all of the tumors in his body. On January of 2014, around the first week is when he finished up his last round of chemo, and they wanted to wait about a week or so before doing a PET scan to see how all those chemo treatments affected his tumors and everything. And he was set to have his PET scan on January 16th of 2014. He went in that day, and the doctors told us that they would hear from us the next day after they reviewed the tests and everything. And that night we were actually at a special program at Travis's school, which his school is notorious for having bad reception. So of course I missed that phone call, and we had gotten out to the car, and I had a voicemail, and it was his doctor calling, and she said, "Hey, you need to call me right away." She's like, "I'll be leaving in about 20 minutes, and I looked, and we had like 2 minutes to go till she left. And right away, my stomach sank, and I thought the worst. I thought that there was something that showed up on his PET scan, that the tumor was back, that his cancer was back, that the chemotherapy didn't work. So I got on the phone, and as hard as it is to reach somebody there and talk to an actual doctor, we finally got through, and his doctor said that his PET scans were back, and that she couldn't wait until the next day to call us, that she had to call us right away. And she wanted to tell us that his PET scans came back, no signs of disease, and that he was in remission. So this January 16th, we celebrated 2 years of in remission for Chase. And like Kim had asked me out in the hallway as to what we took away from the Four Diamonds Fund. And I mean, not only were they amazing with our medical bills that we have to this day, we have not seen one medical bill. They provided us with food vouchers to go down to the cafeteria. They provided us with gas cards to go back and forth from our house to the hospital. But the biggest thing, like Kim said, was we think the money that was given to the research. To be able to know exactly what chemotherapy regimen to put Chase on, to know exactly what dosage to give him to make him better, to know exactly what medicines to give him to treat the side effects that he was going to have through it. And for that, we are forever grateful of each and every one of you guys. I know a lot of you guys were probably donating your time to Thon and donating your money to Thon at the time that Chase was going through his treatments and everything like that. And we are forever grateful. There's going to be no amount that we would ever be able to give back to you guys and everybody along the way that has helped make Chase better. So we thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
For making me. Chase, you're not going to win your game. Do it. Thank you for making me better.
Thank you